You wanted a gas tax increase, and then you wanted
Hey, players. So did y'all watch that Republican debate last night? I declare, honey, it was a shit show on wheels. Now, I didn't watch it, but Double D got some highlights that I think y'all need to see. Go ahead and grab your tea and have a seat. Let's get into it. So to start things off, just like the last Republican debate, Vivek Ramaswamy was the object of all of their disgust and disdain, honey. He was like that kid in the back of the class that everybody picked on. I declare, honey, it was warranted.
The time you decided to start voting in presidential elections. So we're nice to have you participating in elections.
And of course, Tim Scott did not come to disappoint. Being the only black person on stage, he had to say something about slavery.
Here's the challenge, though. Black families survived slavery. We survived poll taxes and literacy tests. Hard to survive was Johnson's Great Society, where they decided to put money, where they decided to take the black father out of the household to get a check in the mail.
Y'all know Frumpy Dump was not there. And y'all know that Chris Christie was not going to let that fly. So, baby, he had to say something about Frumpy to the motherfucking dump.
He built 52 miles of wall and said Mexico would pay for it. Guess what? I think if Mexico knew that he was only going to build 52 miles, they might have paid for the 52 miles.
Thank you.
I vote Donald Trump off the island right now. And the reason I vote him off the island, this guy has not only divided our party, he's divided families.
And as soon as Chris Christie said something about Frumpy to the motherfucking dump, that lit a fire under Ron DeSantis's high heels. Honey, he had something to say about Frumpy to the motherfucking dump not being there.
The former president, he's missing in action tonight. He's had a lot to say about that. He should be here explaining his comments to try to say that pro-life protections are somehow a terrible thing. I want him to look into the eyes and tell people who've been fighting this fight for a long time.
I find that very interesting that Ron DeSantis had a lot to say about Frumpy Dump not being there, but when he was asked about Florida's insurance rates, he made absolutely no sense.
Order on insurance worse than the national average.
Our state's a dynamic state. We've got a lot of folks that come. Of course, we've had a population boom. We also don't have a lot of welfare benefits in Florida. You know, we're basically saying this is a field of dreams. You can do well in the state, but we're not going to be like California and have massive numbers of people on government programs without work requirements.
Y'all tell me how this goes together. Government assistance and the price of housing insurance being the highest in the state of Florida out of all 50 states. I declare, honey, what a disgrace. It doesn't make sense, and it won't ever make sense. Now, of course, Nikki Haley is not to be outdone when it comes to uncomfortable conversations, and her disgust and disdain is going to be aimed at where else? Tickety Talk.
TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say. Because I can't believe here you've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can
Baby, Nikki does not like the Tickety Talk. So, of course, when you have a lot of Republicans in the room, you know they can't not leave the stage without bringing up their most important subject of all, which is Hunter Biden.
His last debate, he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, you know, I can't imagine how you could say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well.
I declare, honey, y'all know Hunter has always got to enter the chat when it comes down to the Republicans. So that's what I have on the highlights. Players, put your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this shit show. This is Double D Mo for the Black Accurate News.
And it addresses the national debt as well as brings down prices. Put people back to work. We are using taxpayer money to pay people more to stay at home than to go to work.
And Donald Trump hides behind the walls of his golf clubs and won't show up here to answer questions like all the rest of us are up here to answer.
Just being in Southern California over the last couple of days, my wife and I have met 3 people who have been mugged on the street, and that would have never happened 10 or 20 years ago.